I'm Zach Hale, and I'll be talking about Henry VIII. So he was born the second son of Henry VII. But after a while, his brother, who was next in line for the throne originally, ended up dying, as well as his mom, which of course messed him up mentally. But on top of that, he ended up being the next king of England, to a father who really didn't have a relationship with him. On his father's deathbed, his dad told him, he emphasized to him the need for a male heir, whoever he married. So after his death, he started making decisions and passing legislation that was going to build him support from the people of England. And eventually, one of the first things he does is he marries Catherine of Aragon. And he stays with her for a long time. They were married for a while, but she couldn't bear him a son. So after over 20 years, he eventually divorces her. This decision and forceful execution of his decision is followed by the decision to separate England from the Holy Roman Empire. So essentially, the Pope kept saying, no, up to the Bible, you shouldn't get a divorce. Well, he ends up saying, now England is the Church of England, and I'm the head of the church, and I say what goes. So he forced his way to get a lawful divorce. After that, he would marry the girl that he'd been seeing pretty publicly behind Catherine's back, Anne Boleyn, and she did the same thing. They couldn't have a son together. And after several years of marriage to her, Thomas Cromwell helped Henry by creating a case against her for adultery. And he went around and basically got gossip from many of the women and different people out there and built a criminal case against her, and eventually she was executed for her adultery. He then married Jane Seymour, who gave him a son, but she would actually die 2 weeks after the birth. All these things, he got married 3 more times after that, and all these things, they essentially led to him being a tyrannical king. All the pain he was going through with his ulcers in the leg, everything, he was driven nuts. The outrageous things that he did and the lengths that he went to establish his dominance earned him a spot in history. The readings are very similar to the video in a lot of ways, but they just, for example, I can't remember the woman's name right now. I forgot to write it down, but the nun who could apparently talk with God, she was gifted, and who publicly came out and talked against his divorce, she ended up being beheaded, and her head was put on a stake in the middle of town. And this was someone that Henry VIII himself had already called upon for guidance before. So it just went to show you that he took no prisoners when it came to his rule. We see that in the way that he created the church. He created a whole new denomination of a church because that supreme authoritative figure wouldn't let him have his way. So he decided he was going to become his own authoritative figure. I mean, that's crazy. Anyway, that's it.